says hi. Lily says hi. And today I wanted to talk, yes, I know. Today I wanted to talk about the Gothic novel. One of my favorite Gothic novelists is the great Shirley Jackson, who wrote, The Haunting of Hill House. It's probably the most famous one. A lot of amazing short stories, and a book called We Have Always Lived in a Castle. And I was thinking yesterday, if I write an autobiography, I might call it I've Always Lived Next to a Cemetery, because it's true. From the time I was little kid till now, I've always lived near a cemetery. And I've noticed that I've written in some of my books scenes that take place in cemeteries and in my poetry. And I've always kind of liked cemeteries. And I think that they're a good setting in a novel because they provoke a lot of different ideas. After Clive Barker's Books of Blood, Volume 1 through 3, I felt like I needed a little bit of a palate cleanser just because, his books are so intense. So I did a little light reading. What did I get? Okay, so I went to the library and I went to the young adult section, which I said before is now expanded, which is very cool. And I got a book called Unspoken by Sarah Reese Brennan, and I read that. I gave this 3 stars on Goodreads. I didn't love it, but I liked it. So it was good. I don't know if I'll continue reading it, but it was interesting. I don't know. There seems to be, like, with a lot of these young adult books, I've just noticed the ones I've been reading, maybe it's just the ones I've been reading, there's not a lot of good story structure. The plot kind of meanders, and I don't really know why that is. Maybe because it's a series and they're stretching it over a certain amount of books, but there's a lot of starting and stopping, and it's not like a definite through line that I'm seeing. So I don't know, but it was okay. So, but I also picked up these, I picked up one of these, my favorite type of Gothic novels, which are these paperbacks from the 60s and the 70s that I grew up reading. And I have a bunch of them, quite a collection. I'll do a close-up later. And they all seem to feature the same cover, which is a young woman running away from a castle in the background, or a haunted house. And the books never quite live up to how cool the covers are, I have to say. But these to me are just like a fun read. They're really short, very formulaic, kind of like a Harlequin romance. And this one is by Alice Brennan, who wrote a bunch of these. And she also wrote a lot of nurse serials about, I guess, romances about nurses back in the 60s and the 70s. And I have to say, if I had to choose between this and this, I'm going to go with this. Now, it might just be because I'm a little older and a little generational. I'll give that. But to me, as much as these books are very formulaic, same kind of cover. This one's called The Devil's Dreamer. This is called The Haunted, also by Alice Brennan. Same kind of thing. Pretty girl running away from a house wearing some, like, fabulous dress. And to me, these books, yes, they're formulaic. Yes, they're predictable, but there's a craft to them. There's a craft to the story. I'm immediately pulled in. I got to know what happens. I'm kept guessing, and I can't put it down. So yesterday, I did a lot of reading, and Lily and I took a little trip to the graveyard. So I wanted to cut to that clip and show you what we did. This is St. James Cemetery in Bristol, which is known for being haunted. There are a lot of interesting symbols on some of the gravestones. This is like a Masonic symbol here. This is the witch's chair, which is supposedly if you sit in this chair at midnight in October, or especially on Halloween, you'll feel the witch's hands come around you and embrace you in a cold embrace. And no, I've never tried it because I'm too scared, I guess. It does on Halloween, we do get people coming in there and trying it out. It's kind of funny. So that was our little graveyard tour. I was on a Gothic reading kick a while back, and I started you can read my blog. I have some blog posts about it. So I decided I'm going to read all these Gothic books, and I did get kind of far on my list. I got a little sidetracked, but I'll get back on this list. This is considered the first Gothic novel, The Castle of Otranto by Horace Walpole. That's hard to say. The Castle of Otranto by Horace Walpole. Excuse my lack of pronunciation. This is a beautiful leather-bound version I found with the lovely silk, what do you call that, fly sheet? And it's illustrated, and it's lovely. I think this is Franklin Press, Easton Press. If you don't know Easton Press or Franklin Press, they have many of these beautiful bound books, leather-bound books. And this one was new. It wasn't. Some of them are very expensive, depending on what. But I started collecting them, so I have several of these, all classics, Gothic classics and horror classics. So I'm still working on my collection on these. So I guess I can take a moment now to talk about my book. I'm not just a booktuber, I'm an author tuber. So this is my new book. It's called The Ghost of Dark Hollow. This is the printed version of the first in the series, and you can buy on Amazon, and also on Kindle. But if you want, you can read the entire series for free on Wattpad, and I will link that below. I have the first 2 books on Wattpad, and then I'm working on the 3rd one, so I've been updating that one every couple days when I finish a chapter. And the 2nd one I'm editing. I put it on a Wattpad. I've been, updating and editing those chapters, and that should be on Amazon pretty soon. But like I said, you can read them. I do have an extra chapter in this book. You do get an extra, and then you also get a sample of the new one if you want to buy it. So I hope you enjoyed my little film with Lily as we went for a visit in the cemetery. And I will talk to you next time. Thanks. Bye.